Just like individuals, societies experience also phases of development, maturity, and decline. And civilizations are no exception. The Christian civilization, for example, had its Vatican councils gradually stopping the institutionalized religious persecution of other faiths and the constant wars between Christians. The Jewish people, by contrast, they went through profound internal conflicts that end up in irreparable divisions and ultimately leading to widespread conquest, devastation, and terrible, terrible loss of population and also cultural heritage, dating back some 2,700 years ago. By this metric, the Islamic civilization will be currently in its adolescence. So Islam's emergence in this world was not a gentle thing, but rather a cruel expansion marked by impressive territorial conquest across large parts of the then known world. This phase was a period of transformative violence that fundamentally reshaped the entire world. One of the most profound yet often forgotten consequences of this expansion was the traumatic disappearance of Eastern Christianity. It was so brutal and ruthless that to this day we cannot fully comprehend the full scope of its consequences. So much so that we cannot even properly study it. Now, after this expansion, this consolidation, the Islamic civilization entered a creative, innovative childhood, contributing tremendously to the arts, to the science, medicine, philosophy, astronomy, you name it. But it became sort of stuck in a revival of its own dark times. And yet, it never managed to produce foundational documents like the Bill of Rights that established parliamentary monarchy in England, like the Constitution of American democracy in 1776, or the Declaration of the Rights of Men that came from the French Revolution. And in most of the Islamic world today, there is no separation between religion and state. And it is precisely this state of affairs that has given birth to movements like the Muslim Brotherhood, like ISIS, like Hezbollah, like Al-Qaeda, like Hamas, and countless other jihadist groups. The civilizational regression of jihadism is indisputable. It transcends every single isolated incident to manifest as an ideological, eschatological crusade against Judeo-Christian civilization, against the West. It is a war waged by radical Salafism, fueled by Iranian weapons and with Qatari funding, using the Palestinian cause as a pretext while aiming to destroy Israel and ultimately all European societies considered apostate and morally corrupt. Meanwhile, Islamism prevails here in the West, infiltrating public speech, aligning itself with, oddly enough, left-wing movements, which paradoxically, they defend a totalitarian ideology that opposes democracy, human rights, gender equality, LGBTQ plus rights, and obviously, secularism. So, the West right now faces an ideological crisis with so-called woke, progressive, blindly enabling a movement responsible for mass casualties between Madrid, Barcelona, Paris, London, Brussels, Berlin, and I can just go on and on. Interpol reports more than 100 jihadist attacks only just in the last 10 years. This is an existential threat to everybody, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And Islamic anti-Semitism, it is the most ridiculously toxic form of this ideology, because it mixes all the anti-Semitisms of the past, right-wing, left-wing, Christian, religious. It is a conceptual salad that mixes ideology, race, and conspiracy. The Jews are target of divine anger. They are not who they claim they are. Jews are not real Jews. They control global politics, finance, and they are perpetrators of a genocide now. This is the most absolutely unsophisticated form of anti-Semitism, and yet it is the most powerful because it resonates globally. It influences the far right, the far left, social movements, and the mainstream media.
Whoa.
Nostra Aetate, it is a title given to the Second Vatican Council of 1965, with the whole purpose of addressing the relation between the Church and non-Christians. Nostra Aetate literally means within our time. This is a fundamental document that establishes dialogue and mutual respect between the Catholic Church and particularly Judaism and Islam. It specifically rejects the millennia-old accusations of collective Jewish guilt, countless blood libels, and it confirms the indisputable roots between Christianity and Judaism. And for years now, the countries of the Gulf, our partners, they have tried to warn us about the nature of radical Islam. They, eager to reform and modernize their societies, they have joined the Abraham Accords. Without a doubt, one of the most significant diplomatic achievements of the decade. And yet here, the West often downplays or dismisses the accords altogether because of some sort of emotional rejection to figures like Donald Trump or Benjamin Netanyahu, who actually broke the accords instead of analyzing its actual significance. Please help me here.
Easy in this river,
Yeah. One last thing, and I promise you I'll let you free. So I believe that to address this crisis, the West and the powerhouses of the Islamic civilization, they should support those voices calling for reform, for maturity, for community, to foster dialogue, integration, democracy, and to promote the separation between religion and state. And for the West, the time has come to abandon the naive and utopian appeasement policies that have emboldened jihadism, that have contributed to the conceptual disintegration of the West. And the Western civilization must defend its foundational values of human rights and democracy, and face once and for all the existential threats of ideologies that are totalitarian, tyrannical, and expansionist. Thank you.